It's been a dream year for the Houston Astros. After a 70-win season in 2014, the Astros have rebounded nicely in 2015 and have been in the pennant chase for most of the year. A mix of veterans and homegrown prospects have Houston eyeing the postseason for the first time in 10 years. Today, the A's drop into Houston and will be looking to disrupt the Astros' postseason hopes as they face them for a 3-game set to wrap up this 10-game road trip. It's the A's and the Astros. Game 1 is next. It is the final stop for the A's on this 3-city trip. Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston. And the Astros are reeling, but their fans are going to try to get them going on the homestand. Felix Dubron will make his 6th start for the A's tonight. So it is the first of a 3-game weekend series here in Houston. It's the A's and the Astros coming up on CSN California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. When the Astros were in Oakland last week, they were a first-place team. Not anymore. They're in second place now, Ray. And they are really struggling, but they're also glad to be back home.
They don't play well on the road.
No.
They just finished a 10-game road trip, 2-8. They beat the Athletics 1 game. They beat the Angels 1 game. They lost 4 straight to the Texas Rangers. You look at their numbers, but the bottom line is they're 48-24 at home, and they start a very long homestand against the same 3 teams they just finished on the road. So they hope all those numbers can go away. They can get back in first place, or at least go to postseason, which they're in the wild card right now. I think they would prefer to have a division lead instead of the wild card, as we know that's not that interesting, but they are at home, and that makes a big difference for them.
Billy Butler was the hero yesterday in Chicago for the A's, and he's really having a nice month of September. That's good for Billy because he has struggled some this year, but he's finishing strong.
You know, the one thing he did say, and the big base hit there in the first inning against Samardzija, it also would take him deep, but he said he's made some adjustments working with Darren Bush, the A's hitting coach. He's in the cage quite a bit more, and that says a lot about a veteran this time of the year to be doing that, but he still hits the ball in the opposite field. He does a great job. He got in front and pulled that one of his home runs in Chicago, but of course the biggest one was yesterday afternoon. The A's were down, and against Robertson, this ball was caught but then dropped by Garcia over the fence. 3-run home run in the 9th inning. The A's ended up winning that ball game to split the 4-game series. So Billy Butler doing exactly what the A's had hoped he would do when they signed him. Hit the ball to the opposite field, drive in big runs.
All right, pitching matchup tonight, Felix Dubron for the A's, Mike Fiers for the Astros. It's the first of 3 from Minute Maid Park. Up next, we will check in with the A's pregame live studios, and then we'll come back to Houston for lineups and first pitch. It's the A's and the Astros.
brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, we are at Minute Maid Park here in Houston, and it's the first of a 3-game series. A very important homestand for the Houston Astros, and the A's wrapping up a long road trip, and then they will head home for their final homestand of the year. Game time weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. Of course, the roof is closed. It was a hot, muggy day here in Houston, as always. Right now, 85 degrees outside. It's just about perfect inside as the crowd's still filing in. Looks like it's going to be a very good crowd on a Friday night.
Now, we hope they draw well because they need their support. The Astros hope they can continue to play well at home. The A's want to continue their nice road trip and be a spoiler.
Lineup tonight for the Athletics looks like this. Sam Fuld in center, Mark Canha in left, Josh Reddick in right. Danny Valencia is in there at third. Brett Laurie's at second. Butler will DH. Max Muncy at first. Marcus Semien is the shortstop, and Carson Blair will do the catching.
Mike Fiers, who pitched a no-hitter against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and now, of course, he is part of the Astros. He did that as a member of the Astros, making his third start against the Athletics. He's 0-1 in those 2 previous starts. In fact, a rematch back at the Coliseum. The Astros playing the A's, the Angels, and the Rangers, as they did on the recently completed road trip. Fiers trying to get them fired up, I guess you could say, in this first game of this series and try to get them on a winning track, because the Astros very well, they've played at home, but definitely not on the road.
Defensively, Astros have Rasmus in left, Marisnik in center, Springer in right, Lowry, Correa, Altuve, and Carter on the infield with Jason Castro doing the catching. So Mike Fiers is ready, and so are we for game 1 of this 3-game series as Sam Fuld steps in. Fuld getting quite a bit of playing time lately with Billy Burns out of the lineup, and the first pitch is in for a strike. In fact, Fuld has now appeared in all 8 games on this road trip. And really still no word when Billy Burns is coming back.
I thought this weekend that he was going to be back in the lineup, but as we know, with a hamstring injury, it's always tough to come back if you have to depend on your legs, which Billy does. Outfielders have to play the normal position with Sam Fuld. Can't play as shallow.
So Rasmus takes care of the fly ball for the first out of the ball game, and that'll bring up Mark Canha. A's come in 63-84 on the year, and they are 3-4 on this road trip after the big win yesterday. The Billy Butler home run in the 9th inning. A's are 30-42 on the road, and this is game number 17 against the Astros this year, and the A's are 8-8. So they've played the Astros well. But it has been a while since we've been here. In fact, it was the middle of May last time the A's were here. A's came here in April and in May. And now we're back in mid-September. Kind of a half swing grounder. Shift is on. It's Altuve who has it, and he throws out Canha, 2 outs. A little more on the breakdown of the series. Excuse me, Ray.
I was just going to say, the last time the Astros were at the Coliseum, they had some tough losses. The A's did well against them.
So 3-3 here in Houston are the A's. So it was last week when the Astros were, as we talked about, in Oakland. They won the final game to salvage that series. And that was the start of that road trip that really took its toll on the Astros. Here's Reddick, first pitch fastball right in there first strike.
Hard to imagine a team that plays so well at home in the season the Astros have had to play as poorly as they have on the road this year. Because it's the same team, and you can't say that a stadium like their home here is going to benefit them twice as good. I mean, basically that's what their record has been.
Yeah. Here's the umpires: Toby Baster, Mike Winters, Mike Malinsky, and Marty Foster. Yeah, it is very strange. And I think, too, you can say, well, it's a young team, but you know what? There's enough veterans. There's Lowry, and there's Castro, and there's Rasmus, and Altuve's been around, Chris Carter. So these are not first or second year players. Some of them are young, but not all of them. And there's the breakdown. Worst road record, best home record. And that's a pretty good first inning for Mike Fiers as he strikes out Reddick on a high fastball. 3 up, 3 down. When we come back, the Astros will take on Felix Dubron. Against Felix Dubron, and their lineup has Jose Altuve, the all-star second baseman, leading it off, and then Springer, Correa, Lowry, Gaddis, Rasmus, Carter, Marisnik, and Castro. Jason Castro just back from the disabled list.
And Felix Dubron will be on the mound for the Athletics. Dubron was trying to solidify his spot in the A's rotation, and while he was scheduled to pitch to Fegley, I guess, is a little bit ill, had to be scratched at the last instant, so Dubron will pitch to Carson Blair, but he is making his 10th start of the season. The A's that face him as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays, then picked up by the Athletics. And well, the lefty is pitching as he pitched well against the Astros, beating them in Oakland to start that homestand.
A's defense has Canna in left field, Fold in center, and then Reddick in right. Valencia, Simeon, Lowry, and Muncy around the infield. And as Ray said, Carson Blair is behind the plate. So Fegley, it was just announced, well, what, maybe 45 minutes before the game that Fegley was taken out of the lineup. Blair inserted, and the A's have reported that it's just illness. We don't exactly know what it is, but so that is why Fegley is out of the lineup.
You know, I did see him as we saw him in the clubhouse. Seemed to be okay, but you know, if you don't feel well, why try to push it? And although he is on the bench, I guess he is ready if an emergency would occur. I don't think Stephen Vogt is going to get behind the plate. He should not, and that's why Fegley is going to make sure. And it's probably a good point, Kai, if you think about it. If Fegley starts and something happens, gets sick, and then Blair comes in, and then kind of be forced that Stephen Vogt be the emergency catcher. And under his circumstances, I don't think you want that to happen.
2-0 to Jose Altuve, 311, 12 homers, 59 RBIs. Once again, leading the American League in hits. He has 178. Led the American League in hits last year. A little bit high, pops up and out of the glove of Blair. So 3-0. Leads American League in hits, also in stolen bases. Did it last year. Last American League player to lead league in hits and total base 2 straight seasons. Snuffy Snernweiss.
Oh, I know Snuffy, yeah. Snuffy.
And a 4-pitch walk to the speedy Altuve, leading off the bottom of the first.
That's hard for Altuve to take 4 pitches without swinging the bat. Big play in last night's game in Arlington. Altuve came up with the Astros trailing by a run, first and second, nobody out. Attempted a bunt after the first swing, and then pitching to a 5-3 double play. That's kind of how the Astros road trip went.
It was a 2-8 trip that started in Oakland, went to Anaheim, finished in Arlington, and of course swept at Arlington. But this is the start of a 9-game homestand for the Astros, and really it's an opportunity to get back what they lost on the trip.
Exactly.
Because it's the A's, the Angels, and the Rangers. 3 games each. So, you know what? They had a bad trip. It's almost like the schedule makers are saying, you know what? Here's a chance for you to get first place back.
Absolutely. It's in their control because they are playing those teams, and now they're chasing the Rangers where the Rangers were chasing them. A.J. Hinch, second tour of managing for him.
And Springer swings wildly at a pitch that was out of the strike zone from a guy who'd thrown 5 straight balls to start the game. So there's the West, 2.5 game lead for the Rangers over the Astros. And in the wild card, the Astros right now are the second wild card team, but the Twins are close, and so are the Angels. So the Astros are in the postseason as of today, but they are chasing and being chased. So they're right in the middle of the action.
I think they would be satisfied with a postseason berth regardless, because they're already talking about what happened in the postseason World Series last year, 2 wild card teams, but that's also after they relinquished their hold on first place. They would prefer, as anybody would, to win the division.
Springer bunts it up the first baseline. Muncy grabs it, and Muncy's going to tag him. So Springer bunts. He'll get a sacrifice, although he may have been bunting for a hit.
But you mentioned about the breaking ball that Springer swung at. First 5 pitches, all fastballs, not even close to strike zone. So good idea to throw the breaking ball. Then the fastball to Springer here that he bunts. It is back in the strike zone, but I think he was pushing it. You know, it was kind of a no-lose situation. If he gets the ball down, he's going to advance Altuve. And I think the Astros would like to get on the board as quickly as possible. And maybe by bunting, getting Altuve there, and Altuve always a threat even to steal third base, so you have to be concerned about that. And this young man as well.
So the 20-year-old shortstop Carlos Correa, 18 home runs, 52 RBIs. First pitch, up and away. Saw the note about the home runs where he leads All-American League rookies, but maybe even more impressive, he leads All-American League shortstops in home runs. And he's only played 84 games.
And he's only 20.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. So he's really played about, give or take a few, but about half the games. And among all shortstops, American League and National League, second in home runs, 7th in batting average, and 1st in OPS.
I remember the series in Oakland, Cap, when he had green light 3-0, hit the ball straight up. Also hit a big home run off Fernando Rodriguez, a shot to left center. And he's really as if he's played the game 10 years. And the way he plays shortstop, the way he swings the bat, handles himself as a 20-year-old rookie is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I think looking past these statistics, I agree with you. The way he plays, there's a certain amount of enthusiasm, but it's not too much. It's not going to rub the other team the wrong way. He really does look like a guy who's been around quite a while. And he's a big kid and tall, 6'3", and he's going to add 10-15 pounds as the years go on. And he's just going to be a handful.
Well, this is a shot off Fernando Rodriguez, the Coliseum, and it was a shot to left center. And That was a game in which it was finished up 10-9 that the A's won. Astros almost came back and won, but the A's were able to hang on. Do you know who I think he could play? A team he could play for right now is the New York Yankees, just because of the way he handles himself. Because the Yankees, even though they've won 27 World Championships, they play it the right way. They play as if they've never won, and it's kind of a humbling experience for them where they play the game. And this young man, he handles himself that way.
He'll be 21 on Tuesday.
We were talking about Mike Trout the same way. Remember, he was the same age and coming up, and of course last year the unanimous MVP.
3-2 the count with Jed Lowry in the on-deck circle.
I think about first base being open, which means you throw him a 3-2 fastball down the middle the way he's jumped on a 3-0 fastball, and also the shot you saw that Fernando Rodriguez offered. Guy to train, keep him quiet.
That's right.
What's his name?
I don't remember. Billy?
We got to find out.
I should write it down.
He'll make an appearance.
So I have that. Nice play by Muncy. He reaches down to his left. And Correa is retired with Altuve going to third.
Bobby Dynamite. What
did I say, Billy? Billy Dynamite? No, it's Bobby Dynamite, who it's a little early, so he's not totally into the game right now.
He will make an appearance, and he's like the rally monkey in Anaheim. Billy Bob. He shows up just kind of.
Billy Dynamite. No, it's Bobby Dynamite, who it's a little early, so he's not totally into the game right now.
He will make an appearance, and he's like the rally monkey in Anaheim. Billy Bob, he shows up just kind of at the end, and he starts getting everybody. Bobby Dynamite. He should be named Billy Bob Dynamite.
He is not into the game at all right now.
He doesn't even know what inning it is.
So here's Lowry, 234 with 9 home runs, 27 RBIs for Jed.
He has played well against his former team. Signed a 3-year contract with his hometown Astros, place where he lives. Actually have a pitcher and Lowry. Both live in Houston. He's got Kazmir, pitches tomorrow night.
Lowry on Monday against the Rangers was hit by a pitch, had to leave the game. And he did not play Tuesday. He did not play Wednesday. That was back in the lineup yesterday. There's Scott Kazmir. Breaking ball is low. 1-2 the count.
In the Astros won Coliseum, a 1-run game. It was Jed Lowry driving home the winning run with a 2-strike, actually 3-2, but it started very similar, and he's a different hitter. Of course, left-handed, right-handed, but with 2 strikes, or up until he gets 2 strikes, he'll hit one way, but once he gets to 2 strikes, he will change his approach and think more opposite field. And the A's right now are shifting him to the left side, 3 on the left side of the infield. So Evan Gattis waits.
That's why I've always liked Lowry's approach at the plate.
Exactly.
He has a pretty good idea.
And that's why the right side of the infield is very hard to look at with the openings over there.
And he checks his swing, and the count is 3-2.
The left-handed hit a ball down the left field line. Right-handed, of course, he was a doubles machine with the Athletics, and no swing there. That was not even close.
Much better hitting right-handed this year. He only has 45 at-bats right-handed. And he lines one to left, and that's a hit. And the Astros take the lead as Altuve trots home. A 1-0 Houston and a big 2-out RBI hit early.
Hanging slider, and I guess you could say the shift was okay because they expected him to pull the ball. He happened to hit over the shift, and 85-mile-an-hour hanging slider. So Dubront has everything elevated so far, and that is very inviting for a hitter. And Jed Lowry in that category with the hanging slider Hit it easily to left field for the 2-out hit.
So Lowry gets his 28th RBI. Here's Evan Gattis. Gattis takes a fastball on the inside corner. Gattis is the DH, hitting .240 with 24 homers and 80 RBIs.
And one of the home runs he hit one-handed.
Yep.
It's incredible. Unbelievable strength.
Gattis leading the Astros in home runs and RBIs. So he's doing what he was brought here to do, knock in runs. Came over in the offseason from the Atlanta Braves.
And he played multiple positions with the Braves. Of course, in National League, no DH except for interleague games in American League parks. And I asked him, I said, what are you going to do in final 3 regular season games when you go to Arizona? He said, probably play left field.
Yeah, he has played a little bit of left field this year.
And he said he's about 10, 11 games in left field, and he thinks that's where he will be in those 3 games in which he will not be able to DH.
And he swings and misses, but the ball pops away from Blair, and Lowry's going to go to second.
Now a speed pitch, and Gattis was very much of a free swinger and caught in the dirt. Blair could not keep it close.
So the count 1-2 to Gattis. But now a runner in scoring position. That's Lowry. So 22 pitches here in the first inning for Felix Dubron. A little bit outside, 2-2. Lots of balls. Remember, the first 5 pitches he threw in the game were balls. Good breaking ball, and Gattis strikes outside, retired, but a run for the Astros on a 2-out RBI single by Lowry. So second inning coming up. Houston 1, the A's 0. Hashtag CSNCA Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Top of the second inning, 1-0 Astros lead. It'll be Valencia, Laurie, and Butler. Mike Fiers had a nice first inning, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout.
And did it with just 8 pitches as he was throwing strikes early and often in the first inning. This is catcher Jason Castro back. Castro was out with some leg injuries, and Hank Conger was doing a lot of the catching. Max Stassi got a start in Oakland, but the Bay Area native. Good to see Jason Castro back in the lineup.
And no Carlos Gomez still. He's been out for a while.
This guy makes a difference, though, Cap. And Jason Castro and does a very good job handling the pitching staff. He throws very, very well. Blocks balls well. And while they could say his hitting is not where they would like, but catching is catching. And you take a bonus offensively. So he does an excellent job when he's behind the plate. And I'm sure he's going to help them down the stretch. And by the way, he's come up with some big hits too. He's had some walk-off hits for the Astros. Castro has.
Breaking ball outside corner strike to Valencia, hitting .281. 14 home runs, 57 RBIs.
Throw a cutter and a slider. This a little bit bigger, almost like the cutter. Well, curveball over the top, kind of a flat curveball if that's the case, but nonetheless, an off-speed pitch, 2-1, went soft and made the good pitch to the outside.
Valencia just barely got a piece of it. Not sure he knew that he got a piece of it though. Look back to see if he was going to get tagged. So 3 starts with Houston here in this ballpark for Fiers. No earned runs in 15 1/3, and of course a no-hitter.
Going back to his curve, which he just threw to Valencia.
For Fiers, it's his 7th start total for the Astros.
He wanted to throw the curve, but this was not one that he wanted the results. And of course, this is where the cut fastball comes into play. If he's got a good one or a slider, and I don't think it's going to be a fastball 3-2.
Well outside. Here's the no-hitter on August 21st against the Dodgers. 134 pitches. And he did it right here in front of the home fans.
And Jason Castro is catcher. And a very exciting night for the young man who I'm sure the Brewers face the Dodgers.
Those are the guys who have thrown no-hitters this year. 6 of them now. In that order. Here's Laurie, leadoff man aboard. And the first pitch, there's the breaking ball first round.
Heston, a part of the Giants team, he's got Matt Cain, 10 months ago. Bumgarner, has he thrown one yet? He's come close to perfection. He's just good.
16 and 58 for Laurie, home runs and RBIs. He had a good series in Chicago, 6 for 13. He had 3 doubles, a home run, scored 3 runs. So 0-2 the count with Butler to follow.
See, we're on Washington third. I was thinking about Oakland the same way. Gary Pettis is at third base coaching for the Astros, and Gary coached third base for Wash when he was at Texas. And now the two are back on the lines. Let's Wash back where he was for 11 years with the Athletics at third base.
Big hole on the right side, and it's lined right back at Fiers, who picks it up, flips to first, side retired, or excuse me, out recorded, but he's in some pain.
Definitely a pitch out of the strike zone, and I don't know if he got him on the hip and the hand. See if he puts his right hand down, his right arm. Now it got him on the right hip, didn't it? Almost exactly what happened with Jesse Chavez. I think it missed his arm as he followed through, got him in the right hip, and
They move it around. Okay, we'll see what happens when he gets a chance to toss a few pitches. So he'll have maybe a nice bruise on his hip. And he says he's okay. And everybody heads back to the dugout. So it ends up being a 1-3 putout with Valencia going to second.
Oh, Jesse Chavez got hit in Texas by Ruben Odor. The ball hit him in the right hip, and he thinks that's what contributed to his rib issue. Because when he went down, kind of favored and went down when he got hit in the right hip, and he thought he did something, kind of compressed the area in the hip, the rib area, and as a result on the disabled list, kind of a fractured rib. And he said that's the only thing to think about. Except he could not sleep, couldn't breathe when he woke up on Tuesday morning.
First pitch strike to Butler. 254 for Butler with 13 home runs, 62 runs batted in.
You know, if the ball carries as well to right field as Billy Butler has hit them, you'd have to figure this is very inviting for him here at Minute Maid Park. And yesterday we saw what he did against Robertson of the White Sox. A's down, and Robertson knew it. Garcia had it. And I think Billy Butler said it best when he saw the reaction of his teammates in the bullpen. He knew the ball had dropped out of the glove of Garcia. Turned out to be a 3-run home run and a big one for the Athletics and Billy Butler.
Well, they had the best view, that's for sure. Driven to right center. Marisnik over there. He's got it. And Valencia bluffs and stays at second, 2 outs. So Butler again driving one the other way, but Marisnik, a very good outfielder. He had it under control. Highest batting average in the month of September in the American League. Billy Butler is 5th. He's hitting .368. Shu, Betts, Eaton, Bogarts, and Butler.
Well, you've got other than Shu, who's playing for the Rangers, and they're playing well. The other 4 playing for second division non-contending teams, the White Sox, the Red Sox, and of course the A's. But still, I like to think about a good September going the off season, and a very positive September will help out as you go into the new year.
So here's Muncy. A's need a 2-out hit. The Astros got one in the bottom of the first. Muncy fouls back. Muncy 202 with a couple of home runs and 7 RBIs. He was 0 for 5 in the series in Chicago. Outfield shifted a little bit toward left center. We've seen Muncy hit the ball with some authority the other way.
Well, he waits a long time, and as a result, he's got usually a pretty good on-base percentage, drawing walks, but he's really not starting until the ball is en route, and that's why he's fouling him off to the left side. Off-speed pitch. I think he's going to pull it with some authority. Fastball is usually opposite field.
Fastball is high. And you wonder too, Ray, if maybe as time goes on, maybe Max Muncy's a big, strong guy. He plays corner spots. He may have to learn how to pull the ball a little bit more.
Absolutely.
as opposed to just pulling off speed pitch.
Yeah. In other words, look for a fastball, load up, and let it go. He had 2 good fastballs. He hit the first 2 from his right hand.
Chase the high fastball there. So Fires gets a big out, and the A's strand Valencia at second base. Bottom of the second coming up. It's the Astros 1 and the A's nothing. Houston and really all around Major League Baseball. Great Milo Hamilton passed away. Of course, Milo, 88 years old, a long-time Astros broadcaster, and he was with a lot of teams, but he really probably made his biggest mark with the Astros, and they had a very nice pregame ceremony before. That is his son, Patch M.H. So they did a real nice job before the game. A very nice tribute to the late, great Milo Hamilton. We saw him a lot. He was around the ball, even as, in fact, he was here earlier this year. I saw him in the lunchroom.
Exactly.
But I guess the last month or so, his health took a downward turn, and unfortunately, he passed away today at 88 years old.
Well, you saw that picture of he and hammered Hank Aaron. He called Hank Aaron's 715th home run in Atlanta. Baseball in the bullpen caught by Tom House. Came running in and gave it to Hank Aaron. It's a call that you'll hear forever. And just like Bill Keene's call of Ricky Henderson stealing third against the Yankees, breaking the all-time stolen base record. And there's certain great plays throughout baseball history that you'll always hear, and those voices will always be part of baseball forever.
No two to Rasmus. Well, just like it's fun to look at the back of a player's baseball card, but it's fun to read about announcers too, and his resume was very interesting. Milo Hamilton, he started in 1953 with the St. Louis Browns. Then the Browns the next year moved to Baltimore and became the Baltimore Orioles, and he did not go. He went to your team, the St. Louis Cardinals. He's with the Cubs and the White Sox. Went to the Braves in '66 when the Braves moved to Atlanta. Rasmus tries to hold up, and he did. The only World Series that Milo Hamilton was part of as a winning team was the Pirates in 1979.
We are family.
Could have been a swing.
And the Astros 0-5, but they lost to the Chicago White Sox.
And that time it is a swing and a miss by Colby Rasmus, so that's the second strikeout for Felix Dubron. here in the press box. It's the Astros radio booth. As you get off the elevator, very nice tribute. Lots of cool pictures of Milo Hamilton. So the Astros did a very nice job. Milo spent a couple stints with the Cubs. For various reasons, some of which are probably unknown. He and Harry Carey did not get along. It's too bad. They sort of had a running feud. But Milo arrived here in Houston in 1985, and that was it. He found a home.
Well, Craig Biggio, who was inducted as the first Houston Astro player to Cooperstown this summer. There's Biggio, number 7. And he's hoping his good friend Jeff Bagwell, whose number's beside his, will someday be inducted. There's Killer Bees. Biggio, Bagwell, and who's the 3rd? I've drawn a blank. Yes, thank you. That's good.
Carter to left. Crawford boxes, here we come. Sails right over top the Crawford boxes. And Chris Carter has home run number 19. And the Astros lead 2-0.
How many times have we talked about Chris Carter doing that? That every time he comes to the plate, there's always that threat that he can do that. Because he makes contact. It's usually home run, strikeout, walk. This one, a one-handed home run. And it almost hit the glass. And if the train had been right where it is right now, it would have hit the train. Because it was a shot.
It did hit up there near the train track. And Carter, maybe not playing quite as much as he has the last couple of years, but still very dangerous. And for the Astros, that's home run number 200 on the season.
I asked Jeff Luhnow, the general manager of the Astros, I said, what about Chris Carter? And he said just that. You know, we just sometimes don't know what we're going to get, but they know he can do this. And that's released the top hand. He knew it was gone, and a shot here, no doubt. He got off the cell phone and decided he's going to tell everybody he's back in town.
Marisnik fouls it back.
But as Jeff Luhnow said, and I think appropriately, he said last year, second half, he said he was the most valuable player. Remember how much he hit, how many home runs he hit? And he's such a scary hitter. A's had him, traded here.
Marisnik bounces it toward third. Valencia step in, fires across the diamond for out number 2. And you wonder, too, how much it meant to Chris Carter that he came to the Astros at a time when the Astros were really bad. And they just let him play.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's, because when he was with the A's, you could see the power potential, but there were some massive holes in his swing. You just wonder how many teams could he have gone to after the A's that would have said, hey, Chris, you're going to play every day, and you're going to strike out 200 times, but we want to see what you can do. And that's what the Astros did. I got to believe it helped his career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time.
Yeah. You just have to wonder, too, if somehow with his swing, with all the power he has, if he starts making contact on all those strikeouts.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, just put the ball in play. He's hitting, what, $185 coming into tonight's game. But now 19 home runs and 55 driven in. So it's one of those that's either mostly strikeouts, have hit the home runs. That's about it, though.
And Carter in 2013 hit 29 homers, and then last year hit 37.
19 and part-time this year.
Castro toward left. Canis right there. He's got it side retired. So Chris Carter solo home run. It's his 19th of the year, and we're on to the third. Astros 2, A's nothing.
For the final home series of the 2015 season, when the A's play host to the Cross Bay rivals from September the 25th, Friday, through the 27th, Sunday. Come out and support the green and gold as the A's close out this year's home slate. Get your tickets now online at athletics.com/tickets, or you can call 510-638-GO-A's.
So Chris Carter, a home run, 2-0 Astros, third inning. And for the A's, it'll be Semien, Blair, and Folk.
And by the way, that ball that Carter hit, that's
Yes.
going to go out in any park. He doesn't need to come back home to hit that ball for a home run. Crawford boxes, yes, but that would have gone out of the Yellowstone. I mean, any place.
Semien hitting .253 with 12 home runs, 39 RBIs.
Nice birthday cake for Marcus in Chicago yesterday after the A's had their come-from-behind victory.
Pops this one foul.
Amazing note, I didn't realize, he played a long season. This is game 148 for the A's, but game 147 was the first time all season the A's won a game after trailing through 8 innings. They did that with the Billy Butler 9th inning home run. Mr. Mike Selleck's great notes, as always. He's one of the best when it comes to baseball information.
Good breaking ball there. So 1-2. And he got him again. Stayed right with that hard slider, and that one breaking down and away. Semien strikes out. So 3 strikeouts for Fires.
Well, the hard breaking ball just kind of chased a slider, teased him with a little bit, went after it. And I keep saying, as Marcus Semien gets his playing time at the major league level, that's going to be a pitch he's not going to swing at. We've seen several times this year when he has chased the slider, but it's recognizing the pitch, recognizing it out of the strike zone, and taking it.
And a line drive by Carson Blair, a base hit to left field. Rasmus over there quickly. He's got a good arm. And Blair makes the big turn, stops, and gets back to first.
Something about the Texas stadiums for the young man from Argyle, Texas. Carson Blair hit his home run, first home run of his career, first hit. Last Sunday in Arlington, and tonight, Friday, here in Houston. Jumped on a first pitch fastball and thinking about 2, but you're right. There's the left-handed fielding. Rasmus down in the corner, grabbing the ball, getting it back in quickly, and Carson Blair decided to stop going around first.
So that's the first hit for the A's, and now at the top of the order, Sam Fuld steps up. First pitch is high to Fuld. The Mariners and the Rangers just underway down in Arlington, a game that, actually I guess that would be up in Arlington since we're in Houston. But the Mariners have taken a 3-0 lead. They scored 3 in the top of the second inning. So Mariners 3, Rangers nothing in the third. Paxton, the left-hander, pitching for Seattle. And Gallardo, the right-hander, for the Rangers. The Mariners just took 2 out of 3 from the Angels. So, and as I look at that game quickly, Ray, Jeff Bannister's already been ejected from that game. He'd be in a good mood. His team's won 5 in a row.
Yeah, it should be. Definitely didn't need to fire them up after winning 5 straight. Also, the Angels at Minnesota, CNR.
Yeah, it's been raining.
Rain there. Something the team doesn't need the last 2+ weeks of the season to have to play a doubleheader. We'll see what happens there.
The Angels won last night in Minnesota. That's a 4-game series. Mike Trout hit a couple of home runs last night, so he's got 38 on the year now. The Angels staying close, at least in the wild card. They're 2.5 back of these Astros.
And I think when they won their only World Championship, when they wild card,
they were the wild card.
01. Yeah, because that's when the A's had their phenomenal season, 01. But lost in the first round.
Sam Fuld bounces one off his foot. Well, the Astros, and we're going to include tonight. See where it gets full. Back foot. The Astros, including tonight, have 15 games left. 9 at home, 6 on the road. The Rangers, including tonight, have 16 games left. 10 at home, 6 away. So the Rangers have one more game on their schedule than the Astros do. And of course, next weekend, the Rangers will be right here at Minute Maid. So that'll be a heck of a series.
And that half game is one on the loss column.
Yep.
One more in the loss column by the Astros and the Rangers.
Interesting, the Astros against the AL West this year, 4-12 against Texas. And that really hurt them. Overall, 31-33 against the West. What Houston has done this year is they beat up on the National League. 14-3 interleague play.
But with the schedule the way it is now, if you don't play well within your division, no matter what division you're in, because you play them the majority of the time, it's going to be hard because it's like 78 games that you're playing within your division, 5 teams, 19 against each team.
Full again, bounces a foul. Well, you know what's interesting about that, Ray, and what you're saying generally is correct, but maybe not so much this year in that AL West. Texas is 29-34 in the division, even though they're 12-4 against Houston. And we showed you the Astros 31-33 against the West. Beaten up on other divisions, obviously. Another 3-2 to full, and it's lined off. The glove of fires, scrambles after it, lobs it to first to get Sam full.
He wanted the double play, or at least he wanted to catch the ball and keep the runner at first.
He got a decent glove on it.
Might have saved a base hit also. See the direction it's heading, although might have been going right to Altuve at second. The follow through, it's amazing. Follow through one time, got him the right hip. This time he got a glove on it. It's always nice to know where your middle infielders are playing, and I think the way that ball was headed towards Altuve, probably caught in the air, but Blair would probably have to stay at first.
So Canna steps in. Infield shift is on. Altuve playing on the left side of the diamond. A little bit interesting. I mean, you see the Astros do this shift. But we've seen every A's game this year. And, I mean, the A's have a fair amount of right-handed hitters that hit the ball the other way. And Cannon is one of them. He is not a dead pull hitter. But there's obviously charts that are out there that they're basing this on. I just don't see the dead pull with Cannon, although maybe a little bit more breaking ball. I don't know.
Well, you'd see that sometimes they'd say we'd rather give up a single than a home run. Well, here they give up a single to right field. With the shift to the left side, it's going to score a run. And I think there are certain times that you can shift, other times not. But also, will your pitcher be able to pitch according to the shift? He's got to make the pitches.
Against American League rookies, where does Canna rank? First in RBIs, second in doubles, third in runs. Tied for third in home runs. He's really had a good rookie season.
And I don't anticipate him having the sophomore jinx. I think he's going to get better. I don't think there'll be any tailing off by Mark Canna as he go into the second year. And next year he will not be a Rule 5, but this year we haven't thought about him as a Rule 5.
now out of count.
Kept shaking off Castro, got to the fastball and wanted to challenge him while tailing back towards the middle of the plate.
Layer the runner at second, and the pitch is hit high in the air, center field, right at Marisman. He's under it. He's got it. Side retired. So a hit and a runner left. Bottom of the third coming up. It'll be Altuve, Springer, and Correa. 2-0 Astros. Hey, looking for the best coverage of Oakland A's baseball? Log on to CSNCalifornia.com. As our A's insider Joe Stiglitz provides wire-to-wire reporting for this season with breaking news, video, special features, and more. It's only on CSNCalifornia.com.
Joe's
beautiful
good.
Look, yeah, downtown Houston on a nice night.
Hot though.
It's warm.
You know, you talked about coming in April and May and September. It's been hot every time we've been here. But a nice warmth, especially with the roof closed.
2-0, the Astros lead. And Dubront has allowed a run in each inning as he'll face Altuve, Springer, and Correa. Altuve walked and scored in the first inning. He walked on 4 pitches. It is just his 31st walk this year. And he hits that one just foul. Line drive, just foul.
If that's fair, it's a double.
It is definitely a double. As he pushed it, and he actually made pretty solid contact.
Charging as Muncy, and it just sliced foul, and you can see where Reddick is, and that's how close it was to being a fair ball, and that would have been an easy double, maybe the thing about 3 when he made the outfield grass.
Swing and a miss. Hard cutter from Dubront to make it 1-2. That Angels-Twins game, Ray, has been postponed due to rain, and they will play a doubleheader tomorrow. And again, that's a 4-game series, so they played last night.
Maybe the Angels need the rest because remember they flew all night from Seattle on Wednesday.
Possible.
Probably played on fumes last night and won. Get the off night tonight to play 2 tomorrow. And because it's only 1 trip to Minneapolis, they have to play. Meaningful games for both teams.
That is a meaningful series.
But neither one once wanted to play a doubleheader. Although September it does help because the additional players and pitchers especially.
Slowly hit. Simeon has it. Little juggle, and Altuve beats it out. Altuve with the great speed. He gets out of the box quickly. At least he did on that one. He reached for the pitch, and when that happens, Ray, it usually helps the right-handed batter get out of the box a little bit better.
Simeon was not going to throw him out if he had not double clutched. That's how quickly Altuve was getting down. I mean, he's already past the bag by the time a normal throw would have been made. The fact that he was running out of the box, Simeon really almost lost the ball out of the webbing of his glove, so that created the double clutch. But he can run, and he could get some infield hits. Probably on the 100-yard dash, too. Like a 100-yard dash guy getting down the line that quickly.
So keep an eye on Jose Altuve with his 37 steals. To Springer, who sacrificed in the first inning.
Might be trying to do it again.
Dubron not in total agreement with Toby Basco. In fact, he's had 3 or 4 pitches that he thought should be strikes. So 2-0 to Springer. Defense straight away for the power hitter Springer. And there's a strike. Springer missed a lot of time this year with broken wrist. He was hit by a pitch, but back healthy now. Just back at the right time for the Astros. Altuve bouncing around. This one hit foul and into the seats down the right field line. So 2-2 the count with Carlos Correa in the on-deck circle. Altuve last year had 56 stolen bases. So the stolen base total is down this year.
I'm watching Dubron throw to first base and thinking of Chicago yesterday when Joe West caught a balk on Sean Miller. It wasn't even close to what Dubron's doing now, yet the balk was called yesterday. Left-handed throw to first base is always one that umpires will look at a little bit more closely because the angle is supposed to be about a 45, not, or at least not supposed to indicate that you're throwing the ball to the plate and then throw to first base.
So the 3-2 to Springer had a good rip, fouls it to the screen. So Altuve was not running that 3-2 pitch. See if he goes here. He's not running, and again it's foul.
And that is surprising.
A little bit.
And I don't know that Dubron has that kind of move. The only thing A.J. Hinch could be thinking that maybe Springer's going to strike out. He doesn't want to run into a double play, but I think Springer got a pretty good idea of the strike zone and his coverage of the plate, even pitches out of the strike zone.
Altuve going back to first. So Springer again fouls it back. .55 pitches already for Felix Dubron. Nobody out in third. Altuve gets pushed back to first.
See how many times a pitcher's going to throw to first lefty. Normally he's going to look at the plate. And vice versa. If he wants to try to hold the runner, he'll look at him and then throw home.
Altuve not going. And again a foul ball. So 10th pitch of the at-bat coming up. And Altuve has yet to go. He's not running this time, and it's hit into left field for a base hit. So 2 on and nobody out for Carlos Correa. So that gets us to our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Has to do with Carlos Correa. Most home runs by a rookie in Astros history. Lance Berkman, 21 homers in 2000. And they were a big Glenn Davis, big strong first baseman. George Springer hit 20 last year. Carlos Correa 18 this year. Hunter Pence 17 back in 07. So he's got a chance to at least tie Springer. Carlos Correa. Corner infielders in, which is a bit of a surprise. I did not see Carlos Correa bunting here.
No.
But they were in. Correa grounded out to first in the first.
And just thinking back to last night, if Jose Altuve is not going to bunt first and second down by a run, I don't know that Correa is going to be bunting first and second with a chance to hit the ball over everything.
Off-speed pitch, he missed it. 1-1 the count.
There are not a lot of third place hitters ever bunt anyway.
No. And Correa does not have a sacrifice bunt this year. Not surprised by that. Big time speed with Altuve and Springer on the bases, and that one is rolled foul. Dubron makes a good pitch there. 1-2 count. You had Lowry on deck. After Lowry would be Gaddis. So Dubron ready, 1-2. There's a shot, right center, fold on the move, forward, great play in right center field. Wow. Altuve tags up, goes to third, an absolutely sensational play by Sam Full. He was airborne, it seemed like about 5 seconds.
That's the hometown crowd giving him I mean, they're watching on the replay. We're going to see it here. Look how far he dives midair. You're right. I mean, that's completely just exploding like on a high dive, taking off and jumping and just let it all out. Unbelievable. And remember here, too, he robbed when he's playing center field last trip. And Herrera, I mean, that ball's by him. That's a triple.
It's at least a triple, yeah.
And Sam Fold in the game, I think the first trip in, went up against Towles Hill in right center and robbed. And this is a complete rob here. I mean, that's all out. And again, Sam has talked about he's a type 1 diabetic. He cannot wear the pump because of plays like that. He said, I throw my body all over the field. I would break every one of them.
Pop up. Reddick over. Altuve tagging. Altuve's coming home. Here comes the throw. And it is safe. Altuve ran into the catcher, Toby Basner. Basner got up, called him safe, and it'll be a sacrifice fly. 3-0 Astros.
Well, you know they're going to try. Ball's in foul territory, and relatively shallow fly ball. Reddick getting to it in foul territory, sets himself up and makes the throw. A little bit offline, up towards the first base on deck circle, and that's all momentum. Blair went after it, and there's your little collision with the umpire and Altuve. You know, I think what happened there is the momentum of Josh Reddick going into foul territory, and it's as he threw the ball, he just kind of carried it a little bit, and just enough. If it's right on the plate, probably enough to be a double play.
So here's Gaddis. Springer tagged up, and he went to second. So Lowry with his second RBI in the game, 29th of the year. Gaddis struck out to end the first inning. And that one on the outside corner for strike. So the Astros have scored in each of the first 3 innings. It's interesting. You don't see the runner and the umpire collide very often, but if you watch Altuve slide, he really slides late. Look how late he slides. He just touches with his hand, and the umpire's pretty close as well. But you just don't see that very often.
Something was injured on Altuve. We'll see how long it takes him to come out if he does. Altuve hit the umpire hard, and the umpire, maybe he should do like catchers do, get rid of the mask instead of holding it in his hand. It's not going to be interference if he touches a baseball.
The pop up, and it's going to be the catcher, Carson Blair, who makes the catch. Side retired. So a run and a couple of hits. But for the A's, one of the best catches of the year by Sam Folt. Check it out.
DraftKings.com at premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.tv today.
Jose Altuve back out there. He just got out there, though. He may have been down in the clubhouse. Get put back together a little bit. He just ran out to his position, so he's okay. 3-0, the Astros lead, top of the 4th inning. Reddick, Valencia, and Laurie against Mike Fiers, who has given up just 1 hit so far. His last start against the A's, which was on the 7th of September, and it was in Oakland. He did not pitch great, but he did not have very good control.
Yeah.
He's got much better control today. He's getting ahead of hitters. And he's really fighting it in that start at the Coliseum.
Yeah, he walked 4 in that game, and
those are the 2 starts, both in Oakland.
He walked 4 and all scored 4. All 4 scored. And actually, on the 2nd time, the A's have now surpassed that, as they did in Chicago with 6 walks scored. But both times that LeBron pitched against the Angels and the Astros in that homestand, A's had 5 walks scored. And this was the 10-9 game, the game that saw they were hitting a home run. They almost came back. It was 10-9. The A's had a huge lead and ended up being a 1-run game.
2-2 to Reddick, who struck out in the 1st inning. Shift is on for Reddick. Lowry, the 3rd baseman, playing right at the shortstop spot. Reach for, poked foul. Big interleague series this weekend is the Yankees at the Mets. How about that? The Subway Series is what they like to call it. And the Mets are leading the Yankees 4-1 in the middle of the 8th inning at Citi Field. And the Mets have just gotten rolling, and they can't be stopped either. Closing in on a National League East. Reddick to right. And that baby's gone off the facing of the 2nd deck. And the A's are on the board. It's 3-1.
Josh likes Minute Maid Park. Talked about the eve of 20. Well, he's 1 away. As that ball was crushed, the fastball from Fiers did not take long to get out. It's almost wouldn't figure 2-2, so that's more just reacting on the fastball that, of course, once he hit it, he knew it was gone.
And it was a fastball a little up.
Yep.
So here's Valencia. Valencia swings over a slider. 17th home run to right field. He's got 1 to center and 1 to left. So 19 total. He now has 74 RBI.
Talk about movement on a pitch. Jason Castro, Josh Reddick got a straight fastball, but Castro just tried to catch a pitch with Valencia. Took off almost like, I just called a 4-seamer, and the ball took off like a slider.
So 2-1. Valencia walked in the 2nd inning.
Watch this, Cat. Watch this. Targets there. Watch what he has to do with Castro. And that's the problem with catchers. If they call a pitch, they hope it's the pitch they call. But if there's so much movement, sometimes pitchers don't know it. The catcher definitely doesn't know it, and that makes it difficult to catch. Nobody on base, less than 2 strikes, is all right. But you get somebody on and you're trying to time a pitch to throw out a base runner, and that happens, you got no chance. You're lucky if you catch it. That's a slider.
And it's called a strike. Valencia thought it was high. He was headed to first base. So this probably will not sit well with Toby Bassman.
Well, it's backed up, and it was a breaking ball. Backed up a little bit, and he backed off like he thought he was going to break, and then coming in.
Fires kicks, and here's the 3-2 pitch. And that one's belted to left. And that baby's gone. 3-2.
So much for walking, huh? Does the guy come out of the train on that one? Hard shot to right field, and Danny Valencia, backed up slider, made it 3-2, and then crushed.
So number 15 for Valencia. Here's Laurie, still nobody out.
I bet that's the 4th time back-to-back for the A's this year.
And that one bends Laurie back out of the way. Outside corner strike. Mariners still leading the Rangers 3-0. That game in the top of the 5th inning in Arlington. Astros keeping a very close eye on that one, no doubt. Laurie hit a line drive off the hip of Fiers in the 2nd inning. Fiers picked it up and threw him out at first. Fiers limped around for a little bit but stayed in the game.
Well, for him, his fortune has been solo home runs because they have been no doubters, both of them.
And that breaking ball drops right in there, strike 3 call.
Well, after Valencia thought he had walked, and then the pitch, fastball, crushed.
Up there somewhere, rattling
Still
around.
going. Not like John Jaso at Tropicana Field where the ball never came down.
Butler bounces one to third right to Lowry. And Lowry throws out Butler. 2 away here in the top of the 4th inning. It's up there somewhere. Oh yeah, up by the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness railroad tracks up there. So Muncy steps in. Fiers has given up quite a few home runs this year. He's given up 22 home runs in 165 innings, and that's a pretty high amount. Muncy struck out in the 2nd inning. That one cued foul. Fiers was part of the Carlos Gomez trade from Milwaukee. Gomez was the big name in that trade, but getting Fiers, a pretty nice pickup.
Yeah. Pitching's always needed. As the Astros have pretty much everybody under control. Rasmus is a free agent. They have to decide what they're going to do with Scott Kazmir. Other than that, that's going to see the same team.
Curve just a bit high.
Not that much different from the one he threw to strike out Lord. It did not come down enough for the home plate umpire, but that's a pretty good pitch.
Fastball running away, and Muncy chased it. So a couple of home runs by the A's. Solo shot by Reddick. Solo shot by Valencia. So they go back-to-back. Bottom of the fourth coming up. Astros 3 and the A's 2. Post-game show of the team. Sunday to Sunday, the home of authentic Raiders fans is CSN. Raiders will be at the Coliseum again this Sunday. They'll be hosting the Baltimore Ravens. So Reddick a home run, Valencia a home run, and it's now 3-2. Bottom of the fourth inning. So a shutdown inning opportunity for Felix Duprat, right around the league average this year. He'll face Rasmus, Carter, and Marisnik. Shift is on for Colby Rasmus.
Valencia is playing second base while Laurie is shallow right field. Only Simeon in his natural position at shortstop.
But playing in.
Yeah. It's a good idea. Now the Astros, especially leadoff hitter, is looking for base runners, and someone said, and I think there's a lot of truth to it, the employer shift, sometimes it depends on what the score is. And in this case, if Rasmus hits a home run, it adds to it, but you know, they're leading by one. But leading off the inning, I think, is always different than, say, with 2 outs where a hitter might be trying to hit a home run.
Rasmus struck out swinging in the second. 2 strikeouts for Duprat. He's walked 1, and that was Altuve, and Altuve scored. Fastball, and Rasmus is gone. So strikeout number 3 for Duprat. So here's Carter, and this is what Carter did in the second inning.
I need earplugs. I mean, when he hits them, it's not a matter of if they're out, going out, it's how far they're going to go.
He never hits a cheat.
He doesn't.
Pulled off that one a little bit, did Carter.
Carter once again among the league leaders in strikeouts. 5th in the league in strikeouts. Chris Davis has the most. J.D. Martinez 2nd. Mike Trout 3rd. Nelson Cruz 4th. Carter 5th. That's strikeouts this year.
Let's see. That's probably combined 240 home runs.
Davis, Martinez, Trout, Cruz. Yeah, well, Cruz is over 40. Yeah, so was Chris Davis.
Davis over 40. Trout's approaching 40.
Still surprises me that Mike Trout strikes out that much.
Yeah,
I know he struck out even more last year. He doesn't strike me as a guy who would strike out a lot.
I suppose this year is going to be swinging earlier in the count. And that is surprising because you figure if he puts the ball in play with his speed, he'll get a lot of hits.
Three-2 is skied shallow right field. Laurie makes the catch.
And that was a great pitch. And you saw the one that he hit out was middle plate in. That pitch was away, yet he tried to do the same thing as he did his first at bat. The difference there, this ball ends up towards second base. But look at the location of what Carter tries to do with the pitch. He opens up, swung a little, got under it, and it went high, but it was in the park and to Laurie at second.
Dubront looking for his first 3-up, 3-down inning as he faces Marisnick. Pitches high. Marisnick grounded out to third, his first at bat. Swing and a miss.
You know, with the Astros leading 3-0, everything seemed to be great for the Astros. Now it's 3-2. You can see a difference in the ball club.
A little bit.
Just the kind of the way they approach, and even with the fans.
Sounds like they just came home from a 2-8 road trip.
Exactly.
Well, it's always interesting. You never know how teams react in September. And that one is toward right center, and that'll be a hit. So Marisnick with the 2-out single. And that's not to say that the Astros won't play well the final 2 weeks. Who knows? But it is interesting to watch.
Well, they do control their own destiny. I think that is what you want as a team. You don't have to look at the scoreboard, because if you play yourself the way that you're capable of playing, I'm sure they are looking at the scoreboard in Texas, and they see that the Rangers are trailing. But once they play the Angels and the Rangers, they know they win, and standings will be in their favor. They're probably concerned more about the Athletics right now than they are about the Angels and the Rangers, because at least the two teams are playing after the A's are playing for something. The A's right now playing for pride and trying to play well for the remainder of the season.
Astros are 4-11 in the month of September.
It's a team called the Red Sox in 2011 that had a miserable September, and we know what happened to them.
Castro hit a fly ball. The left field runner goes. Throw to second base. Not in time. Marisnick, who's very fast,
went on first move.
Base.
First move, and it was Valencia with the shift. And on the first move, Valencia coming in as the third baseman, making the play at second and taking the throw way in front of the bag. And ideally, if he could have gotten on the bag and straddled, probably would have been out at second. But considering he had to catch the ball and reach back, he could not get Marisnick, who did go in contact, or at least first move.
So 1-0 the count to Castro. Laurie well out into shallow right field. The outfield straight away for Castro. this one high in the air, left field. Canha's got room, and he makes the catch. So Marisnick stranded at second, and we're on to the 5th inning from Minute Maid Park. Astros 3, A's 2.
To watch the A's take on the Texas Rangers this upcoming September the 22nd, 23rd, or the 24th, and everyone in your suite will receive an A's replica pullover. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/pullover. You know, Marco's taken over the suite services. Marco's got a whole bunch of those. We maybe should get a suite so we can get pullover.
Sure.
What do you think?
Get our hair cut? Like that guy? So watch the game, get your hair cut. He's way out there in left center field.
Wow.
That'd be nice. Usually when you get your hair cut, you're staring at yourself because you're sitting in front of a mirror. Maybe you could watch the game. Getting tightened up a little bit. Two and one to Simeon, followed by Blair and Full. Fires. Likes that slider tonight.
Yeah. Well, after fastballs have been hit very far for home runs, he's probably wants to go to that.
And now he's behind in the count, 3-1. Shift is on for Simeon. And Simeon drives one left center field, but Rasmus is there, and he makes the catch. And I think that play right there, Ray, is an example of in this ballpark where the left fielder plays more into left center field in this ballpark than any other ballpark because there's just not a whole lot you can do from regular left field toward the left field corner.
That's a great point. That was only about 10 steps towards left center, and he's in front of it.
If he's playing a normal spot, that's a hit.
Yeah, you're right.
But he is well off the line toward left center field, and that's where they play here. It's a little bit like in San Francisco, the right fielder plays well into right center field.
Yeah.
Try to plug that gap. But here it's just because that left field wall is so short.
Yeah, Fenway Park, you shake hands with the shortstop.
Yep.
If you're playing left field. But this is as close, pretty close as the Fenway Park, but the description is perfect because how many times we see a left fielder will not even come close to playing in a normal position.
And I think you could just think about how many times is the left fielder going to go into left center and take a double away as opposed to going into the left field corner and catching a fly ball. I think he's going to go to left center.
Well, even earlier, actually, in Blair's at bat in third inning, he had a ball down the corner. Rasmus playing that position where he is, got to it anyway, and held him to a single. If you hit it down the corner, it's going to be a double regardless of where you're playing. It's like playing shallow in the outfield. Against somebody like Billy Burns, you'll rob more in front than over your head.
That was a nasty curveball from Fires, and it froze Blair. That's 6 strikeouts for Mike Fires.
Now this had a late bite to it, and right in the middle of the plate, and it's a knee buckler, freezes a hitter, and you just think, you hope it's out of the strike zone, but it was a good one.
So 2 outs, and Sam Fuld steps in. Fly out the ground out for Fuld. Well, the ground out was a liner back to the pitcher, but defensively, he has the play of the game.
This is definitely 2 runs. The Astros ended up getting 1, but had Fuld not caught the ball, Reddick was coming in behind it, but it's still going to go for the wall. 2 would have scored, and it's possible that Correa would have been at third, but that is a tremendous play, and it was and will always be one that's shown a long time, because there are guys who catch the ball, then dive. He actually left his feet, caught the ball, and landed hard. Super Sam, and he proved it again tonight.
And he lines this one, but Maresnik comes in, makes the catch, side retired. 6 in a row retired by Mike Fires. Bottom of the 5th coming up, 3-2 Houston. The game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to CSNCA Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Tonight's fan photo is from Laura Anderson Newton. Looks like my 3 sons, doesn't it? The green shoes supporting the Athletics. So 3-2 Astros lead the A's. It's the bottom of the 5th inning. Felix Dubron finishes up his warm-up tosses, and he will face the top of this Astros lineup. Astros with single runs in the 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd. The A's got back-to-back home runs from Reddick and Valencia in the 4th, so that's your scoring. Mariners leading the Rangers now 3-1 after 5 innings. So Jose Altuve, a walk, a single, 2 runs scored. Shows bunt, and it's a big breaking ball for a strike from Dubron. Dubron with 1 walk and 3 strikeouts, and he's allowed 5 hits. And that went bunt and foul, and now it's 0-2. Altuve chased that high fastball.
This ball was 6 feet high, and he's only 5'5". So, and he knows it, but that's why it was surprising in the first inning when he took 4 pitches out of the strike zone. But he's got a strike zone that really is from the top of his head to the ground, and that's why he goes after a pitch up way out of the strike zone.
So with 1 out, Springer hits. Springer has a sacrifice, and he has a base hit. Hustling out, and Laurie, what a play!
There's been some defense tonight.
Well, it was him or nobody, because I don't think Sam Fold was going to get to it.
I agree. And it's amazing his athletic ability to go out with his back to the infield, running hard. And if I was Sam, I'd get out of the way too, because he is going after it, reached over, looked over his shoulder, and came up with it, and was pumped when he caught it. That's what I'm talking about.
So that'll bring up Carlos Correa.
You know, kind of in April and May for the Astros, that's a hit. Sam Folds is the one he caught a triple. And talking to Alan Ashby came in and he said how many times the balls were hit just fair, just foul, and just caught, as that one was.
So Felix Dubron has his first 3-up, 3-down inning. He got a little more defense this time from Brett Laurie. 6th inning coming up from Houston, Texas. 3-2 Astros. With Sportsnet Central, It's brought to you by Hyundai. It's tonight at 10:30, and it's on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Raiders' final preparations for the Ravens. Steph Curry is in Charlotte. He's got a friend with him. It's called a trophy. The championship trophy. And the 49ers are headed to Pittsburgh. Fallon Smith, Ahmed Fareed will host. Mark Canada lead it off here in the 6th inning. Breaking ball for a strike to Canna. Reddick to follow, and then Valencia. So power hitters for Fires. Canna playing in his 112th game of the year tonight. Behind in the count, 0-2. Canna, a ground out and a fly ball to center field. There's that sharp breaking ball. Canna takes it.
That job right there by Jason Castro with a curveball in the dirt. Nice block by him. That one of the reasons AJ Hinch, a former catcher himself, happy to have his veteran behind the plate. And that's a good job of keeping the ball with 2 strikes in front of him.
Curve a bit high, 2-2.
Well, you're right, Cap. He likes his curveball. This one, though, did not come down as sharply as a couple have, especially to Harrison Blair last inning. One of the better ones was thrown to Blair that he froze him with a couple of strikes.
And that one hooked down the left field line, but well fouled. Mets leading the Yankees 5-1 in the 9th inning. Yankees have the bases loaded, but down by 4. Big Subway Series at Citi Field.
I guess when Yoenis Cespedes decides to hang him up, he wants to turn to golf.
Sure, he can do whatever he wants. I would not bet against him.
I'll tell you, if he hits the golf ball anywhere close to the way he hits a baseball, it's moving about 95 miles an hour. So, and he's only been playing a year and a half or so, 2 years. I think he started in Oakland.
Saw an interview where he said, "I'd like a 6-year deal in free agency."
Oh, really?
And you know what? He'll probably get it.
Probably. Maybe the team is playing with right now.
Canna way out in front of this one. And that one actually hit a beam. One of those giant green cross beams, and it sat up there for a little bit, and then it fell down.
That's a long way up.
All those fans in the upper deck were pointing to it, and then it came down. See that very often. Right center hit pretty well, but Marisnik has room. And he makes the catch, so Canna is out. So that's 7 in a row retired by Fires. He's got 84 pitches thrown.
The last hit he gave up was the guy in front right after Josh Reddick, and that was with a back-to-back. The only runs for the A's, and A's only have 3 hits and 2 home runs. Account for 2 of the 3.
So Reddick, a strikeout, and then this high fastball he got on top of it. So that was home run number 19 on the year.
I think he tried that time. got a slider, got under it just a little bit. But sometimes it's better to completely miss a pitch when you're looking for something to drive and you miss it. You don't want to pop it up or tap it on the ground and make an out and he swing through it, which he did.
Right, a couple of home runs in the White Sox series. And he skies this one deep and into the corner and foul.
Thing is, the way Reddick's been hitting the ball in the opposite field, he could just as easily go into the Crawford boxes. And in fact, your point about Rasmus, he's playing Reddick, the left-hander, more like a right-handed pull hitter, but more at least closer to the Crawford boxes, closer to the line. And they're actually shading him more towards left field and left center than where he hit the ball in his last at bat.
Fouls that into the screen.
Rasmussen against the right-handers, he's another 20 feet over towards the out-of-town scoreboard.
Toward Marisnik, who trots in. And that's the second out here in the 6th inning. And now Valencia will hit. Valencia walk and a home run. Interesting. So up and in, down and away gets Valencia, but that's not uncommon. He's not alone there.
High, tight, low and away.
This is the 33rd game that Valencia has played with the A's. He's got 8 home runs and 29 RBIs in those 33 games. So he really has had good numbers for the A's, and he's playing every day. I'm sure that helps him. Right now behind in the count 0-2. 3 infielders on the left side of the diamond. Valencia has seen a lot of breaking balls from Fiers tonight.
I think
his home run was not a breaking ball.
Yeah, and I would think the scouting report was a breaking ball 3-1. That was the back up to call the strike. Then he went to fastball, and that's when he hit it. But I'd say what we've seen from the righties more than anything, staying away from it with the breaking pitches. Rare fastballs on the inner part of the plate.
And a curve, and it's lined to right, and that's a base hit. That's a good at bat by Valencia. So that breaks the stretch of 8 consecutive hitters retired by Mike Fiers.
Well, went back to curveball, the one that he missed in his first pitch, but then this is a hanger and a nice adjustment. And to be able to hit the ball to the right side, right field after pulling the ball way up over the train tracks.
So Billy Butler steps in, or make that Laurie, excuse me. Laurie a line out. And lined out back to Fiers, who actually grabbed it and threw him out. And then struck out looking in the 4th. Just guessing that Brett Laurie didn't like that first strike call. Just guessing. Educated guess.
He said that was not a strike. So why not just go out a little bit farther to see if you could still get it?
95 pitches for Fiers. Could be his last inning. Inside, off-speed pitch, 2-1. Now starting to move around and throw out in that Astros bullpen. Short lead at first by Valencia. And it's tapped right side, and it's going to get through into right field for a hit. Valencia stops at second. 2-out rally by the A's.
And they were shading him with a severe pull and a shift to left side. And they pitch him outside with fastballs, staying steadied out of fastballs outside. And first one was called a strike. Lloyd didn't like it. Gets another one, maybe similar, maybe a little bit more off the plate. And they found him to hold the right side. That's amazing. Yet they put him out there, and what do you expect him to do? I know you had a chance to see our good friend Jim Scaler, who was in town scouting the Astros, advancing. As Josh Fields, a right-hander, hard thrower. It's coming down with the Blue Jays, and they are following the Astros in case they play them in postseason.
I complimented Ski, as we like to call him. We were talking, it was probably June, talking about his team, the Blue Jays, who at that point were struggling some of the other teams in the American League. And he said, he said, I still think we're going to win the East.
Yeah.
He said, because we're a pretty good team. Now, granted, this was before Tulowitzki and Price, but
right.
He said they're a lot better than they've been playing. Right. And they made a couple of the big trades, and they probably are going to win the East, the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays won their game 6-1 over the Red Sox, and the Yankees lost to the Mets 5-1. So the Blue Jays lead is 4.5 over the Yankees in the East. So 4.5 with a little over 2 weeks to play.
I can say you have to start sometimes look at the wild card and try to keep winning just in case. That's your only option, which the Yankees have that right now.
1-0 to Butler. Butler bounces one. Nice play at third by Lowry, who flips across, side retired. So the A's get 2 hits, but they cannot get a run home. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It's the Astros 3 and the A's 2. That was in the 2nd inning. That made it 2-0, and then it became 3-0 on this sacrifice fly. Check out the play at the plate. Very close, but Altuve just gets in, knocks over the home plate umpire. So at that point it was 3-0 Astros, but then the A's got back-to-back home runs by Reddick and by Valencia in the top of the 4th inning. For Reddick, his 19th. For Valencia, his 50th. And that is where we are at as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning with the score 3-2 Astros. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world. So Felix Dubron is back out there as he faces Lowry, Gaddis, and Rasmus. This pitch to Lowry is popped up. Right side, Muncy backs up. Couple steps onto the outfield grass, and Muncy has it. So 1 pitch and 1 out for Felix Dubron.
Amazing. You start approaching 100 pitches for both pitchers, and then all of a sudden you look at the bullpens and you start moving around, getting busy. That magical number.
Well, Dubron has retired 10 of the last 11. Faces Gaddis, pitches well outside. Mariners 3, Rangers 1, top of the 7th inning. And Seattle scored 3 in the 2nd and not scored since, but hanging on to that 3-1 lead. So 3-1 there, 3-2 the score here.
Just wonder what kind of crowd they have tonight after a big series against the Astros, and then all of a sudden the Mariners come into town, a team that just ahead of the A's in the standings, I guess, a good way to put it. But definitely not the excitement, I'm sure, of the Astros. It's Friday night high school football.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry about that. This is Friday.
Strike called, 2-2 to Gaddis. Gaddis a strikeout and a foul out, or make that a pop out to the catcher. So Blair caught it in fair territory. There's a shot right into the glove of Valencia, and that may have hurt a little bit. The leather in the glove only protects so much.
Look at his numbers on the season at the DH, 24 and 80, and that was there in about less than a second.
Just get your glove up in the air
and off to the side, just in case.
So here's Rasmus. Rasmus swings and misses. Rasmus has struck out twice, both times swinging. Rasmus does not play that much against the left-handers.
A big home run against Mojica to kind of see him, a 3-run shot in a game in which the A's did come back to win that one.
And Rasmus has had a lot of success against Felix Dubron. Seven for 19 with 2 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run. And that includes the 0 for 2 tonight. So
3-run shot. The A's were up by a run. And that was a 3-run home run, 9th inning, and it's kept carrying, and way deep. The A's would come back and tie it and win it. In fact, remember when we saw Rasmus before, he had the bat close, straight up, and close to his body, and now he's got the bat horizontal to the ground, kind of laying on his shoulder. So he's one of those guys that will change his stance depending on how he's hitting. home runs have been there.
Shallow right center and ready. Nice play on the low backhand side. Retired. That's 7 in a row retired by Felix Dubron. And we're going to the 7th inning. 3-2 Houston.
The A's 2015 season with your own team photo presented by YP.com. Tuesday, September the 22nd at the A's versus the Rangers game. 10,000 fans will go home. The 2015 team photo, a perfect souvenir for collecting autographs from your favorite A's players. For information and tickets, head to athletics.com/tickets. Gotta get to all those guys in the green, starting with the far left. Is that what you said with Mickey and the Goose?
Yeah, that's the power couple. Mickey Morabito, Steve Vucinich. Power brokers. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. As the Astros go to the bullpen for the first time, it's Will Harris. Will Harris having a good season. He's 5-4 with a 1.69 ERA. But he did not have a good series in Arlington. In fact, he took 2 losses in Arlington. And this is Billy Burns. Billy Burns is hitting for Muncie.
It's good to see.
So 6 innings, 5 hits, and 2 runs for Mike Fiers. He finishes right at 99 pitches. But it's good to see Billy Burns out there.
Absolutely, and that means the hamstring's got to be good enough for him to pinch hit and more life stay in the game.
Burns checks his swing. 2-1 the count.
It's kind of strange not seeing Billy Burns out there.
It is very strange. But if he's pinch hitting now, maybe we will see him in this series. Back in the lineup.
The way Bob Melvin usually works, you have Ken in the outfield tonight with Fold, center. So we'll see if they move around and move Ken to first to try to eliminate using too many players. Fastball, cut fastball. Harris throws the fastball low 90s and a cut fastball. Curveball and a changeup.
Altuve grabs the soft line drive, 1 out. So Burns, pitch hitting for Muncie, lines out, and that'll bring up Marcus Semien. And the Astros trying to get back to the postseason for the first time since 2005 when they were swept by the White Sox in the World Series. That's the last time the White Sox get to the postseason. I believe it is.
Well, and we were just in Chicago. They were celebrating the championship 2005, and here we come the Astros, and they were the ones that played them as a member of the National League.
A little flare, shallow right field, and that'll fall. So Semien will take it. He's 1 for 3.
Well, that's a big swing by Marcus Semien, but it just didn't go anywhere. Off the end of the bat, and normally the speed of Springer and a shift to the left side. Springer looked like he took a route in which he headed to his left and then realized it was not hit that hard.
Well, Semien is the tying run, and here's Carson Blair. First pitch is a strike. The Astros, in their 53 years of existence, have made 9 postseason appearances, but only 1 World Series appearance, and that again was 2005. Carson Blair with a single and a strikeout. Semien with a good lead at first, and it's a little bit outside, 1-1. So the postseason drought for the Astros at 9 seasons. Blue Jays are going to break that streak. So the Blue Jays are going to get themselves off that list. Yeah. Mariners are not. Marlins are not. Padres are not. The Mets probably will. No, the Mets will.
That's the amazing thing when you see World Series for the Astros, the Marlins, and the Blue Jays. The last time in postseason, and they happen to be a World Series, and 2 were champions and the other lost. That being the Astros.
So the Mariners will go to the top of that list after this year. As we like to say, not a list you want to be on.
No. But if the Cubs continue their miracle season and they get to postseason, albeit a possible wild card contender, that who knows what can happen. That city was already buzzing as we were just in for 4 days.
No question.
Buzzing about the North Side Cubbies.
Cubs won again today. They beat the Cardinals. Jeff Ludo, who's the general manager, came from the Cardinals. But the Cubs are just a game and a half behind the Pirates. And those are the 2 teams battling. They're both going to make the postseason. They're just kind of battling for the 1 and 2 wild card spots. Who would host the game and who would be the visiting team. So the Cubs making a push. Pittsburgh opens up a series at Dodger Stadium this weekend. So that's never easy because you're going to face Greinke and Kershaw in that series, our Pirates.
They've been pretty good, haven't they?
Wow. Nothing against the other Dodger starters, but it's those 2 and then whatever after that. And again, that is not a criticism. Blair swings and misses, and he strikes out.
Is that like a spawn and saying and pray for rain? I don't know how Greinke and Kershaw could be rhymed.
Well, we could come up with something, I'm sure.
That's a nasty curveball. What a very good curveball by Harris.
So 2 outs, and here's Sam Full. Although Brett Anderson has pitched pretty well for the Dodgers under a 1-year deal.
Matt Latos has it.
Matt Latos he gone.
McCarthy's been on the DL since the beginning of the season with Tommy John. Ryu back, or is he gone for the year?
He's out.
After the year? Rasmus playing Sam Fuld very shallow, not quite the Billy Burns shallow, but in left field, expecting him to hit that way, and maybe the good fastball that Harris possesses, maybe that's the case. Shading him to left field, shift None. Straight up.
That's the Astros mascot, Orbit. Now, I could give you my real feelings about Orbit, but I'm not going to, right? Because it's a 3-2 game. And it's important to distract your own pitcher. That's really, because I don't know if Orbit realizes it, but the A's hitter can't see him.
Exactly.
But all of the Astros players can.
Including the center field TV camera. What was the movie Bull Durham where he threw it? I don't know that Orbit. Yeah, they didn't want to go that far.
Orbit has not been in a pennant race, obviously. That's why he's doing his thing right in that spot.
He's doing the photo ops.
So 2-2 the count.
Back-to-back innings at Jason Castro. He did it last inning with runners at first and second. Had a big block. That was with Butler at the plate. Butler ended up grounding out. Ideally, keep runners out of scoring position. And one of the MVP players of the Astros might be Jason Castro coming back healthy.
Two pitches high. So now 3-2. That'll get the Speedy Simeon running, which will help the A's if there's a ball into the gap.
And that's what maybe Sam Falk can look for, a fastball and drive one maybe against the chip, which would be towards right center as they're shedding him to left field. But that's how it can change with the count being 3-2, especially if he throws him a fastball.
Simeon goes, and the ball's hit hard. One hop right to Altuve. Altuve, the first side, retired. Hit by Simeon, runner left, 7th inning stretch from Minute Maid Park. Still 3-2 Astros.
Is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
(3-2) 7th inning stretch. That's the Astros radio booth. And you know what? This is what Milo did. And this is what the guys do. They throw out bags of peanuts over in the TV booth as well. And the fans right below us.
We eat them. Got a bag that I got from Alan Ashby before he threw them out.
But that was one of the things Milo Hamilton did. Of course, Milo passed away today at the age of 88. Had a nice pregame ceremony honoring the late, great Milo Hamilton, Hall of Fame broadcaster here for the Astros.
So Drew Pomeranz comes in when it's time for change. Think speedy oil change and tune-up. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. So Pomeranz takes over for Dubron here in the bottom of the 7th inning with the Astros leading 3-2. Good ball game tonight. So Dubron goes 6 innings. And the first pitch to Carter, fouled straight back. So Dubron, a little rocky early, but his last 3 innings he was very good. And when it's all said and done, gives up 5 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts.
11 fly ball outs, pretty consistent. Only Carter's was a long fly, went out. This one's going to stay in. Billy Burns stays in the game.
For Chris Carter, who quite frankly hits some of the best pop-ups of any player in the big league.
It was up so high that Sam Ford had a chance to go all the way from left field to center field to back up Billy Burns.
So Fold now in left. Burns stays in the game in center, and Canna gets a new glove, and he goes from left field to first base. So Muncy is out. 1 out here in the 7th, and Jake Marisnick steps in. First pitch, just a bit high. Mariners still leading the Rangers 3-1. That game now in the top of the 8th inning. The Angels and the Twins got rained out tonight in Minnesota, and they will play a doubleheader tomorrow. So that'll be a long day, but a long day of important baseball. Those 2 teams, the Twins and the Angels, right behind the Astros in that wild card race.
Did they say if it's a day night or a traditional doubleheader? Sometimes this time of the year they'll try to go depending on the crowd expectation. And considering it's a big series, I would think should be pretty good crowds at Target Field.
Yeah, day night, 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
So it's a day night. So.
2-1 to Marisnick, who has grounded out, and he has singled. And he gets pitch right in on his hands there by Pomeranz, and he missed a good pitch, 2-2. Setting up inside again. And Ray, you know, you've said it to me lately, and you're right on target. Pomeranz using his fastball more.
Yeah. Well, it should.
I think it's helped him.
Yeah, it's such a good pitch, and you might as well stay with it. Yeah, he shook off outside. Go inside. He needs to go inside exactly where he wanted to throw, and Blair sets up there, and that's what you get.
So 94 miles an hour, and that one, even though it didn't end up inside, it had that little tailing action.
Well, that was a similar pitch that he threw, or pitches he threw in Arizona. And that appearance will never be forgotten. And in the back of his mind, it should be one, and that's probably why he shook off the outside fastball, because it's more of a guiding to the outside corner where he finishes inside. And you throw 11 fastballs to 3 hitters in the major leagues, and you strike all 3 out. That says a lot about your fastball, especially all right-handed hitters. There's nothing wrong with throwing his curve on occasion, but it can be a show pitch, and go back to the number 1, which is a good fastball.
Here's Castro. Castro has hit a pair of fly balls to left field. Going to miss 93 miles an hour.
Those first 2 pitches called NC. I mean, those are such good fastballs that, I mean, and that's where a hitter's swing will tell you that maybe you stay with the same pitch. No reason to speed up his bat.
Good call, Ray Fosse. 0-2 pitch, a fastball swung on and missed by Castro. And that's another good inning for Pomeranz. With a couple of strikeouts, we're going to the 8th. 3-2 Houston.
On sale right now. Get on board early with 2016 priority seating and choose your exact seating location for next season. The A's offer a variety of full and partial season plans that qualify for great benefits, including half-price parking, a flexible ticket exchange program, and more. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's, or you can visit athletics.com/2016. Good time to get ready for the 2016 season. We talked about spring training. And, of course, the regular season, April the 4th, 2016 at the Coliseum. Your Athletics will host the Chicago White Sox, and we anticipate, if both are healthy, Sonny Gray against Mr. Sale.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Pat Neshek, former Athletic. Neshek, first year with the Astros, and having a nice year.
He has a 2-year contract after an excellent 2014 season with the St. Louis Cardinals. I always like the good stories, and Pat Neshek is one of them.
Hey, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Got a 2-year, $12.5 million contract to come to the Astros. A club option for 2017, part of a revamped Astros bullpen. Canna right field base hit on 0-2. How about that at bat?
He stayed with the slider and he left it up, and that helped Mark Canna, especially to go to right field on the 2-2 pitch. Threw a couple of good sinkers and then left the slider right in the middle of the plate, hit me all over.
Well, the A's with a couple of base runners in the 6th and a base runner in the 7th and a leadoff runner here in the 8th. And those are the innings that, after the A's close the gap to 3-2. Here's Reddick. Valencia to follow. And that one just missed outside to Reddick.
And the A's, of course, had Pat Neshek as part of their team. They know his delivery, a delivery that he developed because of arm surgery, shoulder surgery, and had to start throwing down under, which turned out to be very good for him. So the key to figure, the left-handers are going to see balls that are sinking away from them. Right-handers, he's going to stay down with a sinker, and also a slider.
Hey, that's Barry Zito.
Like that look. He shaved, too, after yesterday. Remember, he came into Chicago after basically shutting it down after Nashville's AAA.
2-1 now to Reddick. It's a one-of-a-kind delivery by Pat Neshek.
That was the changeup.
It's almost like every pitch he throws, it's a quick pitch.
Yeah.
Popped up. Lowry into foul territory, and he's got it. And Reddick's going to be frustrated. That looked like a pretty good pitch to hit.
Yeah. And it's kind of an upshoot. I mean, it's pitchers don't rise, but when you throw from down under or the delivery, it gives that appearance of coming up. And looks like Josh Reddick right there. He got under a pitch that normally he's getting on top and driving. And with the uppercut swing, he hit it just a little bit behind in his swing and popped it straight up.
So 1 out, and here's Valencia, who has walked, homered, and singled. So a very good night for Danny Valencia. Again, right side of the diamond is completely open. Carter is holding on the runner. Altuve's to the left side. Now he's walking over. And everybody's sliding over a little bit. So Altuve actually now on the right side of the diamond, but just barely. The hole is still huge.
And if there's a ball hit that direction, he is at first and third and 1 out. Amazing thing. Talk about a comebacker. Last about a hanging curveball was hit to right field by Valencia. This two-seam fastball, look how much it came back. That's an easy one to give up on, and he did, and called a strike. Had to question the home plate umpire nicely.
0-2. Valencia lays off that pitch. So Ryan Dole on the right, Zito on the left.
Berrizino's still trying to build up his arm strength, and not the question. He's just down to the bullpen throwing just to pitch.
It could be.
He threw on the side on Wednesday in Chicago. He was in the bullpen yesterday, I guess Tuesday.
Left field, Rasmus back, and that baby's gone. A's lead 4-3.
There's a hanging slider again with 2 strikes. Amazing. Danny Valencia does it again. And there are your Crawford boxes. Just enough where he reached out. September 2010, his last 2 home run game.
So the A's have taken the lead here in the top of the 8th inning, and a quietness has come over the crowd. They can't believe it.
What do you think's happening in Arlington when they post that score? They just posted the score in Arlington here between innings and on the big jumbotron. Danny Valencia, that's the hanging break he bought, allows you to go out and hook it instead of going opposite field, which he did with a curveball that was against Fires.
Correa, the shortstop, has it. Fires it across. Lowry's out, 2 out.
Well, look at the swing from Danny Valencia out on the front foot and just reach. That pitch away and yet able to reach. Watch Neshek's head. Neshek started shaking his head. Look at that. He knew. He wanted to keep it down. He didn't. He left it up. And Valencia is able to reach and hook it into the Crawford boxes.
Butler, left center field. He's got a base hit. Rasmus gets to it, and Butler has his first hit. So 9 hits now for the Athletics, 5 for the Astros.
So many former Athletics with the Astros, and the setup in Neshek and the closer in Gregerson, both former Athletics. A.J. Hinch, Chris Carter, Jed Lowry. There's a few. Dave Hudgens, the hitting coach.
Well, Burns hits for the second time. He pinch hit in the 7th inning. And a soft line drive, 2 Altuve. Now in the game in center field. And home run allowed by Neshek, the 8th home run he has allowed this year. That seems like a lot for him.
Yeah. I don't think it really helps him to pitch here.
No, that's
because
true.
of the short left field wall. And especially if he leaves the slider up a little bit, which he did.
Your hero tonight so far for the Athletics, Danny Valencia. 2 homers, 3 RBIs. Missed again, 3-1. Billy Burns hooks one to right, and that's a base hit. And Butler to second, he'll stop there, and another hit. So 4 hits off Neshek by the A's, and A.J. Hinch is coming out.
And Gentry's got a pinch run for Butler now that he's in second base, and that's a good idea because you have 2 outs, you look for another 2-out hit, and Simeon will try to do it from somebody out of the Astros bullpen.
So the A's have taken the lead here in the 8th inning on the Valencia home run. It's 4-3, and they're looking for more. We'll be back. For this May 24, 2013.
Yep.
Chris Young, a 3-run go-ahead home run off Jose Veras in the 9th inning here at Minute Maid. A's came back down 2 in the 9th to beat the Astros. Now listen to this. The other home runs of that kind when the A's were trailing in the 9th of a road game in the last 10 years. John Jaso did it in Anaheim in 2014, early in the year, and Billy Butler yesterday in Chicago. So trailing in the 9th inning on the road. An A's home run that gave the A's the lead 3 times in the last 10 years, and those are the gentlemen to do it. I remember all of them. I remember yesterday's very clear.
Well, Chris Young, we know here because he talked about eating barbecued chicken and barbecued ribs because he lives here. And the ball Jaso hit was pinch hit, and it sounded like a crack of a gun. It was so loud.
So Josh Fields is the new pitcher. So tough outing for Pat Neshek, gives up the lead. So Simeon looking for a 2-out hit to add on to the A's lead now. And the fastball is outside, 2-0. So Neshek 2/3 of an inning, but gives up 4 hits and 2 runs. So Gentry is your pinch runner. He's running for Butler. Oh, pop up. Carter going over. Carter cannot quite get it in amongst the fans. Two and one the count. Simeon tonight has struck out, hit a fly ball to left, and he has single. 5-strike call there, 2-2. Crowd making some noise, trying to get the Astros back in the dugout. Sharp breaking ball blocked by Castro. He really does do a good job blocking the ball.
Yes, he does, and that's That's so important, and we've seen Josh Phegley do it so well. Stephen Vogt, Carson Blair, they do a lot of work, and it's pretty obvious that the Astros catchers do the same.
Three-two delivery with the runners going, and it's reached for and foul back to the screen. Tough to find more speed on the bases. Gentry and Burns.
Well, you have to think if Field's going to stay outside, just shoot the ball to right field. And that's for Marcus Semien doing that more and more, especially with the gap they're giving him on the right side. And you figure Fields is going to stay there.
And that one runs inside, and Semien swings and misses. Side retired, but Danny Valencia, a huge home run. A 2-run shot, and now the A's have a 4-3 lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning.
Is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 4-10-0 for the Athletics, 3-5-0 for the Astros. Danny Valencia, 2 home runs, and the big one in the 8th inning. Last half inning, a 2-run shot that gave the A's the 4-3 lead. Fiers went 6. DuBrunt went 6. And now the A's back to the bullpen. So DuBrunt went 6. Pomeranz pitched the 7th. And now it's the young right-hander Ryan Dull. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. So Ryan Dull, I think Bob Melvin says, you know what? I'm going to see if this young man can be my setup guy. So we'll see. Let's check it out. He's been terrific so far. He's made 7 appearances, covering 9 innings, has not allowed a run, and he's got 11 strikeouts.
He liked him when he was in Double-A and likes him even more in the big leagues in September. And right now he's looking for 3 outs and then maybe Doolittle for the 9th. And that's kind of the plan. Although, actually, Doolittle pitched 2 yesterday, now that I think about it.
It's the top of the order for the Astros. Altuve, Springer, and Carlos Correa.
Perhaps if it gets to it, we might see go for 2. Who knows? But right now, you got to get through the very tough part of the batting order with the top third against Ryan Dull.
Pop up behind first. Canna waving everybody off. Drifts into foul territory. He's got it. 1 out. That's 11 consecutive Astros hitters that have been retired. And now George Springer with it. So what you're saying, Ray, is none of us may have known much about Ryan Dull, but Bob Melvin did.
Yes, he did. Billy Beane alluded to it at the press conference announcing the 2-year extension, that Bob Melvin knows what's happened in the minor league system. And I asked the skipper about it. He said, yes, I've liked him from seeing all the great numbers at AA.
Burns is under it. And Burns has it. Springer is retired. So 2 away here in the 8th inning. And now Carlos Correa steps up.
It's going to be much different next season at Towles Hill in center field, where you see the warning track. That little incline is no longer going to be there. That's going to be removed, and it's going to be 408 feet to straightaway center at the warning track. Number 7, Craig Biggio's number. But no more of the Towles Hill. It'll be from the Geico sign over to the Texas Plus and straight across there, and they'll do something fancy in center field, but no more of that center field. But interesting thing, it wasn't so much the outfielders as the hitters complained. It's a long way, 436 feet straight away over the Towles Hill.
That ball is throwing. Line drive. Reddick makes a low basket catch. Side retired. So Ryan Dull, 3 up, 3 down inning. Not a lot of pitches. And a nice job. 4-3 A's lead after 8. Inning. Will we see him in the bottom of the 9th? Maybe. 4-3 A's lead the Astros.
Said Doolittle at 26 yesterday. He pitched the 2 innings, and Bob Melvin said as long as he did not throw 20 pitches in the 8th, the A's took the lead. He'd pitched the 9th, which they did, and he did, and ended up with a 12-pitch 9th inning. So it worked out well. 2 innings for him. We might see Ryan Dull do the same tonight.
Carson Blair to lead it off. First pitch a bit outside. Field stays out there for the Astros. Swing and a miss. Fields has a good fastball. And you saw it right there. Blair a single and a couple of strikeouts tonight. They're going to the 9th inning in Arlington. Mariners still leading 3-1 over the Rangers. So the Rangers will get one more crack at it. Full to follow, and then Canna here in the 9th inning. Breaking ball is outside and rolls away from Castro. Fields' 4th pitcher of the night for Houston. And Blair had a good swing. Lefty Joe Thatcher winding up. It's been Fiers, Harris, Neshek, and now Fields.
So the one curveball, I don't know that he would go back to it to 2-2. See if he just tries to air it out with a good fastball again.
And Blair's called out on strikes. So he strikes out for the 3rd time tonight.
You know, pitcher does this on 2-2. He's got confidence he can come back with something other than a fastball 3-2, and that's the good hook from Fields. And for a pitcher who does not possess that kind of breaking ball or some sort of soft pitch, you miss, you're going to come back with the fastball. Blair had to see another good curveball. Same thing he saw from Fiers back in the 5th inning.
So here's Full looking for his first hit. Sam is 0 for 4. But he has made the defensive play of the game by far. Diving into right center field, and with the score 4-3, all of a sudden that looks like an even bigger play. Because if he doesn't catch it, it's probably a 2-run double.
Yeah, and with
right?
the speed of Correa, it might have gone for 3, and that could have been a runner at 3rd.
Yeah,
but
right. It was 1st and 2nd,
yeah,
nobody out.
1st and 2nd. Now, Altuve did score, but Lowry ended up getting a sac fly down the right field line, but 2 score, and Correa's at 3rd. That could have scored a run also. It could have been a 3. So only 1 instead of possibly 3, maybe 2, but regardless, the A's have the lead now thanks to the defensive play by Sam Full.
Castro comes out from behind home plate and into foul territory, and he's got it.
Well, this is what we're talking about, and just picture yourself in the outfield saying, I'm going to leave my feet and make a diving catch. Just leave the feet completely, which he did, airborne as he was, and Reddick was backing up. But I think with the speed of Correa, even though Reddick got to it or would have gotten to it, still, that was ball going towards Towles Hill at right center. And Cap, I look at what Sam Full did on that one defensive play, like the smile on Stephen Vogt's face on Memorial Day, and Jesse Hahn pitched the shutout. Stephen went 0 for 4. You can go 0 for if you play defense the way Sam Full did and catch the way Stephen Vogt did in that particular game. That's the hard part about DHing, because you can only hit. And if you don't hit, you can't offer anything else.
1-0 to Mark Canha. Canha singled leading off the 8th and then scored on that Valencia home run.
And Mark Canha 0 for 3 before the two-strike single to right field. And he started the inning when the A's were down by a run and scored a big run to help the A's take the lead.
In the bottom of the 9th, the Astros will have Lowry, Gaddis, and Rasmus. And if anybody got on, Carter. So there's some power there. You can say that pretty much throughout the Astros lineup.
And unless somebody's hiding the bullpen, I see a quiet bullpen for the A's.
That is a quiet bullpen.
Which would mean that the young man's going to try to finish it off.
I would say that's pretty quiet. I don't see anybody warming up.
See a bag of baseballs and a bottle of water.
I don't see
that's
anybody
it.
out there.
They're all sitting to the left. And there they are. And there he is.
So 2-2 the count. Over 27,000 in the house, making noise, trying to get to the bottom of the ninth. 2-2 pitch, breaking ball. Canna swings and misses, side retired. So Fields has a 3-up, 3-down ninth inning. Ryan Dole is going to try to pick up his first career save. 4-3 A's as we go to the bottom of the ninth.
The A's, the home run, the long ball. Danny Valencia backed up Josh Reddick with his back-to-back, and then a two-run shot off Pat Neshek with a couple of strikes in the Crawford boxes on a hanging slider, scoring Mark Canna. That would tie the game, and the home run scoring was Danny Valencia for the lead, and Ryan Dole trying to finish it off. The Astros only 5 hits and 3 runs. The Athletics have doubled with the 10 hits, and young man in the uncharted territory at the major league level anyway. The experience at the minors, but here the big boys coming up right in the middle of the batting order.
So Lowry to lead it off, then Gaddis and Raspas. A shift for Lowry. Simeon comes in and plays a shallow at the third base. Half third, half short, right in between, but comes well in. First pitch to Lowry is on the outside corner for a strike.
Cap in Chicago, he was not getting that pitch. That's the one that he's trying to perfect, the outside corner to the lefties. He had to throw actually the back door slider in the inning in which he loaded the bases and got out of a tough jam. But that's a perfectly thrown pitch on the first one.
Grounded, charged, Lowry, 1 out.
So Cappy started the first 4 batters, 0-1 pop-up, 0-1 fly ball to center, 1-0 line drive to right, 0-1 ground ball to side. And he said that he's been trying to develop a changeup. That was his changeup. He turned that ball over at 84 miles per hour.
Quick learner.
It's amazing. Somebody said, you did a third pitch. I said, why? Got a nasty sink with a slider. But it's amazing what he has done in a short amount of time.
Evan Gaddis.
This is his challenge here.
They are going to the bottom of the ninth in Arlington, with the Mariners leading 3-1 over the Rangers. 4-3 here in Houston. A's lead.
Got away with it.
Let's not throw that one again.
Yeah, that's the one he got away with. Got under it. And this guy, just like Chris Carter, contacted is scary, and this is scary. Released. That's another one-handed swing. Remember the home run he hit?
Yeah.
When he released the. Usually they release the top hand. He releases his bottom hand. He just throws the top hand at it. That's a good pitch.
And he went around, and it's 1-2.
Well, except for the hanger that he tried to get outside. At least he's staying out there, and that's a good pitch regardless of the check swing.
Pitch goes with that hard slider again, down and away. Rasmus in the on-deck circle. Foul straight back. Above us to our right.
Well, he shook off, which means he had to shake to the fastball, and assuming Carson Blair called the slider. Stephen Vogt does a good job shaking his head to get the pitcher to shake his head, even though he wants him to throw the pitch in the sign he's given. I don't know if Carson Blair is doing that yet. Another fastball away.
Got him swinging. 91 miles an hour with movement. And that's 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
Well, the challenge, a little bit of a funky delivery, and that's just enough maybe to throw hitters off. And remember, the Astros are seeing him, and they don't know much about him, but I think they're being very impressed the way he's throwing.
So 2 away. Here's Rasmus. Preston Tucker has come out into the on-deck circle, number 20. He's a left-handed hitter. First pitch to Rasmus, in for a strike. Quiet night for Rasmus. A couple of strikeouts and a fly ball to right field. Close pitch.
We called that on Jed Lauer. But that's getting a good place to stay.
Foul. Left side. And now Doe ahead in the count, trying to get his first major league save. Rasmus has 19 home runs on the year. Shift is on. Valencia playing just to the right of second base. Laurie in right field. 1-2 pitch, just a bit down and a bit outside to even the count at 2-2. Hitting hero for the A's, Danny Valencia. Outside, full count.
Well, let's see if he challenges him on 3-2. He's stayed away, a couple of breaking pitches.
That's Preston Tucker. Now the crowd rises to its feet. 3-2. And it's high, and he walked it. So the Astros still alive.
Yeah, that's a first base runner since Moroznik back in the 4th inning. DuBlanc got the next batter. He retired the next 3. Make it the next 6. Pomerantz and now Dull, and that's the first base runner. So that's right. We'll see. He just tried to overthrow the fastball a little bit.
So here's Tucker. Left-handed hitter, another guy with power.
But the one thing you do, and really for Carson Blair to call the pitches and for Ryan Doll to stay outside part of the plate, and they try to stay away from the shortest distance, which down the lines, as we always talk about it. When you look off the box, he's very inviting to left field. You can get a guy to hit the ball to center field, as Springer tried to pull the ball, but it hit his straightaway center.
Pitch to Tucker, off speed, snaps in there for a strike. Tucker, a rookie outfielder, got 13 home runs in 88 games.
And he has opposite field power.
Drops low, 1-1 the count to Tucker. Luis Valbuena has come out into the on-deck circle. That's Marisnik's spot. Everybody on their feet. 1-1 pitch. Strike call, 1-2. 92 miles an hour on the fastball. Kept it away from Tucker.
Well, Tucker tried to pull, and he opened up the hips, and that's a good sign to see when he's trying to think about pulling. Yeah, he may think about opposite field. Sam Fuld playing very deep in left center. Actually, more towards left center.
2-2 the count.
That is called in left center near the warning tracks of the profit boxes. Have to remember the inning that Doyle pitched in Chicago, loaded the bases, ended up getting out of it in the extra inning game that the A's ultimately lost in 14. But so he's had more than just a 1-2-3 inning. He had it in the 8th inning, but this one a little bit more of a struggle.
2-2 pitch, here it is. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that's the ball game. So the A's come back. Valencia the home run in the 8th inning, and they hang on and beat the Astros in.
Fastball just blew him away, and he tried to hit it 9 miles, and he could not catch up to the fastball from Heindel. So congratulations to the young man who probably is using this month of September to let everybody in the American League, and especially his own team, know that he's right where he belongs.
So the final score, the Athletics beat the Astros tonight 4-3 in Game 1 of this 3-game series. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on CSN.